Comic Shop Wednesdays. Weekly live stream starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Royce from A Drink with Crazy, where he goes over upcoming books, comics, games, and more. Link in the description. Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios. Weekly Wing It number 102 here on Rumble and YouTube. And starting off with us tonight is Billy Bob Sack.
Kaplaw.
You know what? I forgot to hit a button.
Ow.
We're playing it. That guy.
Now I'm doing my solitaire. Leave me alone.
Okay, well, we're just past that guy. Over on the other side of the screen, we got Frederick Guimond.
From the other side of the ice wall, Quebec City, Quebec, where we have the oldest fortified city. I'm here back at the drawing table, doing some penciling tonight. Two more pages of Rattel underway here.
Hold up. Royce is still calling you Guimont, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Most people do, you know. That's
I did the first time I pronounced your name, and thankfully you were here to correct me.
Yeah, you pronounced it pretty well. I mean, I'm mostly surprised, like when Otter can even pronounce what's his name, Louis, the guy who did the Dune thing.
Oui.
Louis Villeneuve.
Oh my God, how are your Frenchman fucking this
Dennis
up?
Molyneux?
Well, I'm not fucking up the pronunciation. I just couldn't remember his damn name. I'm not a big,
Dennis Molyneux.
not a big fan, you know.
And also with us tonight is the I can't talk tonight. Historian, Readout Productions. Readout.
I got peanuts. I'm eating peanuts.
We have to denounce Readout. He said he is eating Peanut, the squirrel.
I said peanuts.
No, we can
Peanut
play it back. It
was a
definitely
beautiful
Peanut.
creature that was slain by the state of New York. Peanuts are a delectable treat.
Assassinated.
Assassinated, yeah.
I worry
How dare
about you, Readout.
Peanut as a delectable treat to be murdered and eaten.
We just got to get a picture of him from one of his streams where he has an exasperated look on his face. Print that on a T-shirt and underneath put a caption that says, "I said peanuts." Plural.
I worry sometimes that Readout is getting too much of an education and it's getting to his, getting to him.
What type of education? Well, there's education, then there's edumerication, which I deliver.
All right. Well, speaking of eating stuff, how about a sandwich? Check out James Esparza. What's up, James?
Hail, friends, hail. And also, his name in English is pronounced Dennis Molyneux. None of that Molyneux crap.
Denis Villeneuve. Yeah,
No. I read his name, and it's pronounced Dennis Molyneux. All right. I'm not French. All right. I'm an American. Down here, an American sandwich, some American cheese on it.
He's not even French. He's Quebecois. He's a local.
Even
here.
worse. Okay. Look, I'm an American down here. I'll read his name. It's Dennis Molyneux. And he's welcome.
I think my ethnicity is redneck.
That's American.
Yep.
I would definitely
We got some of
qualify.
those down there.
I got a bad sunburn last week, and you definitely qualify for redneck now.
So what's up, guys? How you been this last week?
I've been getting better. I've been real sick last week, but I've been slowly getting better, getting back on track, getting back to drawing. Finished your commission there and started a couple of pages on back on Rattel, doing some penciling. Feels good.
Yeah, I love how that came out. That looks awesome. Thank you so much.
Happy to hear that, man. I gotta ship it out now because we have our what do you call it? Mail delivery service is on strike. So Canada Post is on strike right now, and you have to go through like FedEx or other services like Pure Later and whatever. But you have to go to their physical locations. You have to, I guess, handle the stuff online, print out your label, and all they do is accept the pickup, basically. Gotta ship some stuff out.
So on the agenda tonight, got a couple ideas for conversation. One of them is themes and story themes when writing a story. Should there be a theme? Or can you just have a story without a particular theme and have it be good? Or what do you guys think? Does a story require a particular theme to stick to?
Most of the time, I think most of them have it, don't they?
That's an interesting one. I'm gonna lean probably more towards yes, because even good stories, when you're not thinking of themes, they may just kind of have accidental themes, because any tight story kind of produces that.
Yeah, I think the best stories, you can always feel if one or many themes coming from the story. Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes the theme can bite you in the ass. Change ones.
Do you think there can be a good story without a theme? Like, thing happens, characters go deal with it, they might have some growth, but no particular theme is present. You just have really cool, likable characters that make the story worth it. Or do you think a theme will still somehow inevitably come out from it?
I think you gotta have a theme in your story, at least somewhat. I think you can really get away without doing it.
Now, James, you've written a lot of short stories. Do you ever have a particular theme in mind when you start them, or do you just start them and it kind of grows organically from it?
Usually just grows organically. That's why I kind of say it's hard to get away from themes. People point them out and stuff when you're not even trying to put them there.
Yeah. How about you, Frederick? Not asking you to give away anything in Mattel that you don't want to give away, but you wrote the story for it. Did you have a particular theme in mind when you started?
I mean, I had themes. I had the superhero themes, I think, is a big part of it. Getting the character up and fighting in the sky was a big theme. I want to get my hero flying up and in the heights, like literally within the story. And there's the huge monetary background because he's a Bitcoiner, so there's the kind of financial system villainy in the background, so that I think that can become a theme as well. I mean, it's part of the plot, but the plot and theme can intermix, can't they?
They can, but I don't think those are more settings and actions. Where, like, for example, I was listening to I wish I could remember who it was from. I was listening to a YouTube video, I think yesterday or the day before. I think yesterday. And he mentioned Star Wars. The theme in that was, he noticed a theme of nature versus technology, where you kept seeing over and over again, you had all the mechanisms of the Empire, whereas everybody fighting against it was more lower tech, and often it ended up in a nature setting. Even in the originals, even beyond the originals to the prequels, you had all the, what are they called? The Gungans? Is that what they're called? The Jar Jar's species?
Yeah. Gungans.
Gungans. Not a Gundam. Gungans. Yeah, and they were very nature-based. The Ewoks, it just seemed like there was always a massive mechanized technological force coming at them, and these more nature-based counterattacks are what ended up winning the day. It almost was like nature was aligned with good and over mechanization was aligned with evil throughout all the Star Wars, at least the original series and the prequels. Hey, Pooch. James was a dog for just a second.
Press the wrong button there.
Big theme in Star Wars too is family. That kind of came along after a few movies.
Don't worry, Vin Diesel will be in the remake.
He should just show up in Star Wars as Riddick and start wrecking people. Oh, Rita, what are your thoughts? I know you do more.
I mean, it really, when it comes to doing historical interpretation, you're probably going to get the public better if you have a theme that's like kind of tying everything together. You know, what's the point of learning all this? You do want to have that nice bow at the end. So this was the lesson. Now, if you directly come out and say what the lesson is, people are probably going to be pretty agitated, but so you have to play with that. Got to have a theme there, make it pretty. It has to be apparent, but it has to be subconscious as well. It's one of them like, oh, yeah, that's pretty natural. Has to come across that this was a natural course of events. Not a, don't do this, don't do that. Which is what history boiled down to, is me just shouting at people, hitting them with my big stick going, don't do that. See, they did this, and it didn't go well. How many times do I have to teach it to you, old man?
Oh, did you like that Firefly video I sent you?
Honestly, I haven't had time to watch it yet. I think you're not the first one that sent it to me. I think Wrangler sent it to me as well at one point. Or maybe it was like in a group chat thing. I swear I saw that video.
I might have. I know you sent that to me, Billy, but well, the funny thing is I had just seen that like 2 days prior.
No, I sent him a different one, which was about like the lost cause in with the Firefly.
I swear I watched it. I didn't hit that link, but I know I've heard a lot of people talk about the correlation of the lost cause to the correlation of the Firefly plot. A rebellion that was hopeless.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting video. I thought you would really enjoy it, you know? And you could probably...
I mean, all the iconography's there in Firefly. It's almost to the point, it's like, yeah, this is... there has to be more to it than just it sounds cool.
I'll bet the other one we watched, I sent the frequency. The dude's pretty based, you know? Because he was basically being like, yeah, the ending to the Firefly shit doesn't... Like, it was good 20 years ago, but now it doesn't really make that much sense, or is not that great.
Because we see all the political intrigue and spin in our world today, which makes what happened 20 years ago pale in comparison. So folks are going to see that. So if folks in real life saw that, they would question that and go, "Oh, propaganda. Oh, is this a deep fake? Oh, wait, this is a conspiracy theory."
And the thing is, he was like, yeah, but like the outer worlds already hate the fucking Empire, so like it's not really going to change their opinion of them. And the inner worlds, like, I mean,
they don't want to believe it.
The history of us ran some propaganda and calling stuff conspiracy theories.
Yeah, and in fact, what was it? The inner worlds. A lot of them just thought the Reavers were rumors. They thought they were like boogeymen type stories. They already didn't even believe in them, even though they're out there slaughtering folks. So is it really going to change the mind of those who live on the inner worlds?
No.
But it certainly would make the government sweat.
Maybe some portion, but I think... I mean, look how many people went during the coup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, most of them. Probably not.
Are we talking about Firefly?
Yes.
Sort of, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, Raven.
Hey, Frederick.
I mean, overall, we were talking about themes a moment ago, but Billy had sent us a video. Last week was it you sent it, Billy?
Yeah.
Yeah, about Firefly and how the ending of Serenity was good 20 years ago, but not today.
Yeah. Yeah, I was frustrated with the movie because while it did answer some questions, it didn't necessarily answer all of them, and it seemed
Like,
to ask
He
a
was
couple more.
booked before. That never got answered.
Yeah.
Many people think he was an operative before he took on the identity of a shepherd that he probably killed.
Yeah,
Out of guilt, ended up taking up his mission.
I'm assuming the studio won't even let them like write a book or something.
I think there were some comics done for it that filled in the gap, like something to do with. Remember those guys during the series, the Blue Sun Corporation? And River was sitting there going 2 by 2 hands of blue, and these guys showed up looking like they were wearing blue rubber gloves. And I guess it was revealed in the comic that it was a full bodysuit under their clothes that they were wearing.
oh yeah.
I don't remember all the details to it, but they went into Blue Sun Corporation a little bit. Even Jane wore a shirt in one of the episodes that said the Blue Sun Corporation.
Oh yeah.
Hell,
well,
man.
What's up, Blue Man Blue? Good to see you.
I have a
Ooh.
T-shirt for the Blue Sun Corporation, I believe.
Oh, yeah? I wonder if, Firefly was awesome. I loved it. And it was
Oh,
way
yeah.
too short-lived. But I wonder
Duration.
if a lot of it's, the reason it blew up so big is because it was so short-lived.
Possibly. So there's a number of things. I think part of it was that it was good. It just needed some time to get out, but also bad advertising and bad advertising for it, and also bad ordering. So like, it was not. I grew up in Kansas City. It was not on any of the local Kansas City channels. I accidentally found it out of one of the TV stations out of St. Joe, which is about an hour north of Kansas City, which is out in the boonies, and they had it. And so I started watching it. It was kind of cool, but it didn't seem to be in any actual order. So it seemed like they were just playing reruns
They
of
did
whatever.
play them out of order, yeah.
Yeah, and that particular station played Firefly, Cleopatra, what was it, 2525 or something like that, and one of the other sci-fi series that was kind of similar at the time. And I figured that they were all reruns of some really cool shows that had just come out, a few years ago, but they got them on discount or something, which is why they were out of order, and they seemed to be replays or whatever. Nope, I think they did that with all the ones that they had. But and like I said, I had like tune in the TV and like try to get the dial in just right in order to pick up the transmission. Just one of those situations.
Yeah. But when it originally aired, Fox aired them out of order. Like Serenity, which was the pilot episode 1, they played that last.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I actually have the DVD collection somewhere.
The
And so
airing
I-
order of Firefly is the epitome of you fucked it up.
Yep,
Yeah.
big time.
I can't disagree with you there.
What was
There were
the-
no aliens in that whatsoever either.
Yeah, that's one of the very interesting things about that particular sci-fi.
Actually, one other sci-fi series that's movies, TV show that I'm thinking of was interesting, and it had no aliens exactly, no sentient aliens. There were critters, there were animals from other planets, but there were no people. Everybody was human, and that's the Chronicles of Riddick. Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and then what was the third one called?
Well, I mean, technically, Alien would classify in that context as well.
Yeah,
If we're going to
possibly.
include Riddick.
But within that continuity are the Yautja, and they're a sentient humanoid species.
Yeah, but they're not actually technically canon to.
Oh, they're not? I thought they were
Yeah.
considered all in the same universe.
Not really. It's just I think it was Dark Horse who had the rights to the Alien comics and had the rights to the Predator comics, and they went, "What if we have them have a a crossover comic, and that's how it started.
Oh. Well, what about
That takes us down the
what
rabbit hole.
about the
of,
guy in Prometheus who seeded the planets? That was technically an alien.
Listen,
Well, you
we're not
see,
mentioning Prometheus.
we block
Shut up.
Prometheus from the canon. That's not canon. We choose our canon. That's not canon. See, there's Alien and Alien Isolation, and then there's Aliens, and then we go home happy.
Understood.
I don't think that there were any aliens in Cowboy Bebop. And that takes place entirely within our solar system.
No, there weren't.
Wasn't aliens like a theme in
Well,
Cowboy Bebop?
No,
An unspoken theme?
there was.
I don't know.
Yeah, but when they tripped, that wasn't an alien thing. That was because
Yeah.
the food was bad in the fridge. That wasn't really.
Yeah.
It was the part of that episode was a riff on Alien, but the actual thing that was making him sick wasn't like an alien. They left the fridge too long.
Yeah, well, the other episode that I absolutely love was the mushroom episode, which is literally about mushrooms.
Well, I have an admission to make. I never saw Cowboy Bebop.
I have a confession to make. I did not like what I saw of Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop is an interesting anime series. The live action Netflix thing was just garbage.
I didn't see that either. I saw when I used to get home from work when I worked security years ago, and I think it was on Adult Swim.
Yes,
But I went to turn on an episode and I figured, oh wait, this is serialized. I should try and catch this from the early episodes, and I never went back to it. I turned away because I figured I wasn't going to know what was going on, and I never got back to it.
Are you saying Cowboy Bebop is not? It's episodic shit.
Is it episodic?
Kind of, sort of, but it also has an overarching.
Not kind of, sort of. I've watched some of it, and it was definitely episodic.
Because I figured animes were almost always serialized.
So you can watch different episodes, and they're kind of in and of themselves as an episode, but then there are storylines that kind of go across the entire series, and actually that's how I found out about Cowboy Bebop as well, was Adult Swim, and the one episode that I saw like 3 times in a row I think was the mushroom episode, and I was like, I really wish that I could see one of the other ones. And it was like, apparently anytime the other ones were scheduled to run, I missed it because I've had my job at the time was keeping me busy as well.
Be happy.
Man.
The shrooms.
Dang it, Trippy, where are you? We need you for this conversation.
Man.
Stay safe out there, Trip. The power grid needs you.
Yeah, he's at work.
I still advise watching Cowboy Bebop from beginning to end because there's character introductions and exits, so you need to know when those are happening. The supposed main plot, which is I guess Spike's main plot, was it amount to about 4 or 5 episodes of the whole run?
Yeah, it kind of goes through the different characters' backgrounds, kind of runs into different characters from their past, and one of the main themes is they're all kind of stuck in their own past.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to themes. Raven, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. What do you think as far as stories go? Does the story need to have a central theme, or can a story be good and entertaining without one?
I'm kind of mixed on that because I think one of the things that I've in the past I've been thinking about it a lot, and as the last couple of years has shown, is that I think character driven, the characters need to be good, fairly well thought out, have some personality to them and stuff. as well as long as you've got some interesting characters, I don't know that you necessarily need like some big huge plot or theme. You can kind of like a D&D adventure. You could just drop them into something and see what happens, and in a lot of cases it should turn out somewhat interesting or something.
I agree there. As long as you have compelling character, it doesn't matter how much theme you have. If you have no compelling characters, then that theme is garbage.
Yeah.
Well, the theme might not be garbage, but the presentation would be garbage.
But I do like, things that generally have a theme to them or some sort of progression to them if you're going for progression. But then that's kind of one of the things that like Cowboy Bebop kind of has. It is episodic, but the overall theme to it is kind of they're all stuck in their past and none of them are moving forward. So even though they're going through all of these different episodes, I guess that's one of the other reasons why you can sit down and watch an episode and kind of, as long as you know the characters and stuff, you can kind of get an idea what they're probably going, what's going to happen, what they're probably going to do and stuff, because they're all kind of stuck in their past and none of them are really moving forward, even though they're moving forward through time.
I see.
But they're not
Hell
dealing
yeah.
with their past.
Hey,
Hey, Herman, how's it going?
can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How you doing?
Up, just hanging out,
Sweet.
waiting,
Glad to have you on board.
waiting to pay Steve Fortune, and waiting for some text to come back from the from an editor.
Oh, cool.
So I thought I'd join and annoy Billy Bob.
All right. Glad to have you on. And what's your thought on themes and stories?
Yes.
No, I mean, do you think a story you can have a good story that people like without a central theme that is built around, or
Yes.
must there always be a theme for a story? to be
No,
good?
it doesn't have to be a theme. It just has to be entertaining.
Do you think it helps having a theme does help make a more cohesive story? Or
I think if you have a longer story, a theme is kind of essential. Or if you have something that's busted up over episodes, having a theme in one episode more across the whole series is important. But like when you get down into short stories and even novellas, there's no room for a theme. There's just not enough room. And so I think shorter fiction is kind of themeless. You get up into larger fiction or more expansive fiction, maybe. Or you can just write something that's entertaining. I think people get bound up in themes way too much. And while themes get things depth, they can also detract from the actual work as well when you start preaching more than you entertain.
I think, what was it? Readout. Are you the one who mentioned earlier? You have a theme that's conveyed subtly, but if you come out and say the theme, people feel preached at and get pissed off.
If you go in deciding if your building block is the theme and you're building from the top down, you are risking the chance you're preaching. You're going to increase your chance of preaching. If you're building your theme out of essentially starting with your characters and kind of going, what works? Hey, what's similar? What's different? Hey, this is a parallel to this. You start on the characters, you start building your way up. Your theme's probably going to be much stronger. Themes sometimes can be accidental. Created accidentally. You're like, oh, wait a minute. This is all correlating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually had that in my first book. I didn't have a theme in mind. I just had a plot in mind and character personalities in mind, but I didn't have a theme. But I ended up with a theme in there completely by accident. It just happened that way. My second book, I didn't have any particular theme, but there was a little bit of one in there, and again, it wasn't intentional. But I'm thinking about it for like the third one I'm working on right now. It's like this just seems like people are going from place to place, doing thing to thing. Is like something's missing, and that's why I've been thinking about themes lately. Is like maybe I need something to bring that depth out.
So, but like the first book that I wrote, and it's still sitting out there, waiting to be published. This is actually the one I tried getting published before I wrote The Revenant and the Tomb. It's a series, and the series has actually two intertwining themes. Or maybe I would have to say like studies, not character studies, but kind of like, I guess themes. One of them is about prophecy, and the other one is about faith. Although it's very subtly done, and now that I've said it, people will probably be able to see it right away. And I guess the one that I'm working on now, if there's
You
a theme,
don't say.
if there's a theme to it, it's actually biblical. It would be about the difference between being called and being chosen. So, and it's something that I mentioned in the first book about, many are called, but few are chosen, and what the difference is. And I think this next book brings that comment I made in the first one come full circle at the end of the second. So I'll leave it at that because I'm not going to spoil any endings.
Gotcha. Hey, here's one for you because you seem to have characters kind of based around this. Do you find it difficult to write about biblical principles with Christian characters without having it come across as preachy?
No, actually, I find it easy because I let the character do all the talking, and you know who the character is. I don't get into, the characters have more important things to do than to get into long philosophical debates.
Right.
But it's like it's more showing and less telling in it. So because he's going up against, bad creatures, evil creatures, this, that, and the other. And it, the story itself is what preaches without preaching. So like, Drum was polytheistic in The Revenant and the Tomb. And I'd have to even say apathetic or agnostic, or apathetic by the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. I see that in him.
Yeah, and by the time he was done, his whole outlook changed because, he kind of saw for his own eyes.
Yeah,
what was going on. So it's that's type of stuff that's the type of stuff I put in there. So it's like I said, I try not to be where I think it's the most difficult is trying to stay theologically sound while being, while writing something that's, it's fictional.
right.
So, like the book I started on, the one before now, I had to eventually abandon because it was not theologically sound. It was a great story. It had a couple annoying elements in it that's the other reason why I dumped it. But the premise itself was not sound theologically, and I wasn't going to go there. So, and even if I because I don't think this upcoming book, but the fifth book, I think I'm not going to I think I'm not going to be categorizing it under Christian fiction anymore, or Christian fantasy anymore. But even if I did post it outside of the Christian fantasy genre, I still wouldn't put it out because it does deal with God and certain religious truth that I believe. And if I'm going to do that, I want to make sure that I'm well within the boundaries of what's acceptable.
I'm kind of going the other way because I'm thinking my next one just might be posted as I just might list it as Christian fiction because I built it all right into the lore. The
Mhm.
difference between fallen angels, demons, and gods, and all that, and
Mhm.
and since it's set during the Great Tribulation,
So, what would you guys? What would be that threshold of Christian fiction or just basic fiction, general? Fiction?
Well, it's got to, it's got to have certain, I think, Christian principles like forgiveness and, forgiveness and faith, and a monotheistic viewpoint. Murder's bad. A lot of the things that Judaism teaches are bad, along with a few other things that Christ incorporated. Which I bring that up in the next. I bring that up in the next book too. So it's just something I kind of insert in there, kind of like an afterthought. So that would, and then the full kit and caboodle might be like stuff like Revelations and and stuff out of the gospel and all that other stuff, and Jesus and stuff out of the gospel and all that other stuff. Just stuff I sort of avoid because I don't, if I'm not trying to retell I'm not trying to retell a parable. I'm not trying to retell a story in the Bible. I'm not trying to preach. I just want to make something entertaining while at the same time not, at the same time,
adhering to the principles. Yeah.
but it's also the Bible has some really good stuff in it that I think a lot of people take for granted. But I mean, and it's got some really whacked out stuff in it too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's like, if you look close enough, you can see Lovecraftian stuff in there, or stuff that we would define nowadays as Lovecraftian. Which book number 5, I start delving more into the Lovecraft side of things. So, but yeah, so. But I honestly, one of the reasons why I'm thinking about moving it out of Christian fantasy is because I think that that's hurting me as far as sales on Amazon. So,
yeah.
and it doesn't really matter if it's defined as Christian fiction when I've got, atheists that are reading it with no problem. I mean, if it hurts my sales,
But putting that label on there just might make people pass over it when they would have
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't, when I'm at in-person events, I don't mention Christian fiction unless somebody asks or wants to know, or especially if it makes, it sweetens the deal. But so I think probably just pulling it out of there, pulling it out of that genre and placing it maybe in a bigger genre that's a little bit more, I would have to say that's not so
It doesn't have so many preconceived ideas attached.
Yeah. And the other thing is that Christian fantasy is like so bodaciously small. Recently I sold like 1 or 2 audiobooks back to back.
Yeah.
And it rocketed that audiobook like up into the top 25.
Oh wow.
In the genre. Two books. 2 books.
Wow. 2 weeks. Well,
9 times.
Bueller. I've seen
Rose Path.
I've seen a bunch of videos lately that just has been slamming Christian fiction, and they're saying, why does Christian fiction, why is it so much of it so bad? Said you're trying to make a good entertaining story that carries the principles, but then you look at a lot of the Christian fiction is, I mean, not as bad lately, but like over the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, a lot of it was just so horribly cheesy. And they were making
yeah.
the mistake as woke Hollywood makes by slamming you over the head with a message rather than telling a good story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, your primary purpose. The funny part is that Jesus was able to do both. Thank you, dear. Jesus was able to do both. He was able to be entertaining and tell a story without actually citing much of anything, like the prodigal son.
Mm-hmm.
The prodigal son contains a message, but it doesn't have any relation to any, to any particular piece of scripture.
Right.
It's just a story, but it's a story, once again, with a theme that people can universally recognize.
Wasn't it that way also the master gave the talents to the servants? That's another one I think you did.
Yeah, or
yeah.
Or the prodigal son. There again, another one. Although it has a much deeper Jewish context. But I mean, he was speaking to Jews by and large, so they would have caught it all.
For those who think that Jewish people have an aversion to pigs, remember he ended up living in the pig pen. So
Yeah.
Then again, he was in a foreign land at that point. So,
But I mean, the Good Samaritan. I mean, the Jews and the Samaritans, they hated each other, pretty much. Both considered the other unclean or whatever.
yeah.
And so the whole point that a person who is lying out, dying by the side of the road naked, it's assumed it's a Jewish person. That a Samaritan would come along and treat him better than the other people who passed him by on the side of the road. That was kind of like a shocking, that was kind of like a shocking thing to say. But I mean, he was making a point.
Yeah.
But that, like I said, that had far more Jewish context than
Stories definitely have cultural context added.
Yeah.
If you know the context of the culture, then sometimes the stories just might not make sense.
Yes, but I mean, but the thing is that works on two levels, though. It has you understand the full meaning of it with the cultural context, and then you have like sort of this meta meaning that we all know, whereas guys lying bleeding by the side of the road, two people pass him by, but this third guy comes along and actually helps him, even though he's probably not his friend, people that should have helped him. So you don't have to dig real deep to know what the Good Samaritan means and what it is to be a Good Samaritan.
The Old Testament has a lot of fascinating and interesting stories as well. There's a lot of boring stuff, but then there's also a lot of stuff that puts like, what was the HBO series that everybody was going bonkers about a couple years ago? Song of Ice and Fire or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But there's some stories in the Old Testament that are just put that to shame. With the types of characters and all the political goings on in the background and stuff.
I'll tell you what, reading through the book of Numbers, very dry.
Oh yeah. Numbers and Deuteronomy are quite dry, but I believe those are going through at about the same time as some other stuff, which other books I don't remember. One of the things my dad recently pointed out to me was that First and Second Kings goes through one set of stuff, which is I think that's the one that's the historical context, and then Chronicles goes through the exact same time frame, but shows the spiritual stuff that's going on. And so if you read the two of them together, you get a better understanding of what's going on.
Which I think I might just be getting into now. I have the chronological Bible, so it like
Oh, okay, yeah. My dad was talking about that.
those things in order. And I think that's where I'm getting into right now.
There's one of the prophets. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Ezekiel. I don't think it was Samuel. I think it was Ezekiel, where there's like a period of like 40 or 80 years where like nothing happens. And it's like, what happened? Well, that's technically the time frame of Esther, I think it is. So all of the stuff that's going on in Esther is what's going on in that 40 or 80 period time frame that's just blank in the other book.
Now, I'm in First Samuel right now, and I just read where I just finished off was where it was actually a real bummer. Eli, his kids were trash, and he was warned, you know what, they're going to end up dead because of their lifestyle, and then they ended up dead. It's like,
yeah,
and that's where the daily read ended. I'm like, well, that was a bummer.
Let's see, is that the one where his kids take the ark out to fight the?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's more to that, which is a bummer as well. I'm sorry to say.
Because the section I'm reading for tomorrow starts off labeled "The Death of Eli." I'm like, this just gets better and better.
Yeah. So I believe at that point he is blind, I think.
Yep.
And so people come back from the battle to. Well, I don't know. Should I give at least part of it away, or not?
Oh yeah, go for it. I'm not averse to spoilers in most cases.
So from what I remember of recently reading through that, his sons take the Ark of the Covenant out to use against their enemies because they think it's their trophy thing to destroy their enemies, and they take it out and no, it's God's. It's God's thing, and God uses it to destroy his enemies. And so God doesn't do anything, and the enemy takes it from him. And
yeah, that's right. They just stole the ark from him.
Yeah, they were so distraught that I believe the entire army just flees back to the city. And Eli, here's people coming back into town, and he's trying to get somebody to tell him what's going on. And they tell him that about what happened and that his sons were dead. And I believe it's as soon as he hears that his sons are dead, he realizes that the prophecy has come to pass, and he falls over backwards dead. Nope, I think you're muted.
Yeah, where I read, he was just told that this was going to happen a few pages ago, and then it ended with that happening. So I haven't been to the part where he was told yet. Yeah,
and it's just like, wow, okay, he just kind of collapses over backwards and gone. But then it's fascinating that the enemies took the ark and put it in their temple with their god, and the Israelites' God destroyed their god. And the first night, I think the idol just fell over, and so the next day that they see that it fell over, and they don't think much about it, so they come back in and put the idol of their god back up and stuff, and they go off. And then I think the next day, it is completely destroyed or toppled over, even worse. And then there's also the plague that comes out, and so they want to get rid of it, so they haul it off to some other city, thinking that maybe they just need to get distance away or something. I don't think it really goes into the details as to why they sent it away to another town. But the plague continues in the other town, and so they send it off to another one, and the plague kind of follows it around. And so they're like, well, this thing is just causing plagues around in the various cities, so let's send it back to the Israelites and give them back their plague.
Yeah, I'm curious as to getting to the part in there where it disappears for the last time, because we still don't to this day know where it is. Well, we know it's gonna make an appearance again sometime in the future.
Yeah. It was supposed to be in the temple in Jerusalem. I I believe, what was the year? 70 AD, somewhere around in there. It was like the middle of the one of the Jewish revolts against the Romans, and the Romans came and destroyed the city. But the temple was set on fire, and depending upon who you listen to, it was the Romans. The Romans destroyed the city, but there's also cause.
Or them Italians used to have no chill.
Yeah, but there's also cause to think that because Jerusalem at the time was split between three factions, that not only were fighting the Romans, but were also fighting each other. And I think it was the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Zealots. And they were fighting each other as well as Rome. And right before Rome was able to take over the city, I think one of the factions, to prevent anybody else from getting it, set the temple on fire and burned everything down.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I just recently went through, I didn't realize the tribe of Benjamin at one point was almost completely wiped out.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you look at the map where all of the tribes were given land, at various times, the Israelites kept not obeying God, and so God kept sending enemies in and would come in and take over territory, land, and capture people and send them off to some foreign land, far off. And I think pretty much any of the various different historical powers throughout time that were in that region basically they each took a bite out of Israel.
Yeah, Israel's gotten some rough stuff happening to them right throughout history.
Oh, yeah.
Well, somebody wants to read all of my books. Somebody literally just bought every single one of my books online.
Dude, that's awesome.
Like,
Nice.
within the last hour.
Hold on, you can see
wow.
that via Amazon?
Yeah, because they have a dashboard.
Well, yeah, I go to the dashboard and it just gives a number of how many orders processed.
Yeah.
But I don't consider that to be all that much accurate because
It's been pretty accurate for me.
there are times I've gone, I'm like, I should have a copy of my own book on my Kindle. So I'll go and download it, put it on there. And then it's like 2-3 days before it even says an order was processed on my dashboard.
Well, boop. Maybe it was 2 or 3 days ago. Somebody was interested. Maybe this was Black Friday.
But whatever the case, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Just the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, somebody's interested. So yeah. Well, the thing is about the Ark is it couldn't have gone very far because Indiana Jones found it.
That's right. Well, what's the latest rumor on that? I think it's supposedly it's kept in a place under watch somewhere in Ethiopia. I think it's one of the rumors I heard.
There's a replica at Mar-a-Lago.
I
There's
was not
pictures
aware of that.
online. Yeah, there's pictures online with James O'Keefe standing next to the replica.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So
So there's a cherubim on there, right?
Oh,
I wonder if Trump put that there, or was that always there when he bought it?
Harrison Ford put it there for him.
There you go, Donald. Right off the movie set. I got to get back. Find Sean Miller.
It was in the back.
Where's Sean Miller?
It was in the back storage,
Oh, but weren't the angels depicted on there? They're cherubim.
Yeah.
Have you looked up the descriptions of all the different types of angels? Some of them are freaky.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I've told you, man, there's There's some Lovecraftian stuff in the frickin' Bible, man.
What, you don't like the chariot angels? Of eyeballs?
Yeah, those are the what are they called? Are they called principalities?
That's their truest form without illusion, I think, because they always change their appearance when they.
No,
appear.
they're called thrones. Those are called thrones. Those
Yeah,
angels.
'cause there's different
Types.
kinds of. It's not just
Some of them look very much humanoid, according to description, and others look nothing of the sort.
Yeah, because they could change their appearance to not totally traumatize the people they're manifesting to, apparently.
But some have like a human-looking face, the face of a bull, the face of a lion. They got like 3 heads, and there's a whole bunch of different types. There's principalities, powers, thrones, cherubim, seraphim, and a few others. But many of them have different appearances. Like the cherubims, I think they have 6 wings.
Yeah, that's kind of where I got the idea to put 4 wings on my angel, but it was mostly for aesthetic reasons.
I honestly believe that because they are not of this
Plane of existence.
plane of existence, their true form, they may show in their true forms, but our senses can't completely understand them, like looking at a tesseract. So the mind tries to make sense of what they're seeing, and that's kind of where we try and that's what we see. But it may not be, they may not actually look like that. It may only be how our brain interprets it.
Like I have no doubt they could make them all of them have the ability to make themselves look like just a regular dude walking down the street, and you'd never know.
Yeah.
They could look like Ben Affleck or Matt Damon, for all we know.
In gaming.
Yeah, annoying. Yeah. You know how annoying that would be?
Everybody jumps in on Matt Damon.
Listen, yeah, like instead of St. Peter meeting you at the gates, it's fucking Matt Damon, angel,
Matt Damon.
And then St. Peter would be like, why is everybody asking me where Ben Affleck is?
What about the apples?
So, what are we going to talk about now?
I have no clue. Frequency?
I've been watching XRP and Bitcoin the last couple of days.
Oh, you're not going to turn into Mike Miller, are you?
Why? What's he said?
He's
Oh my
still
God.
doing his cross-examine streams, and everyone seems to turn into this big discussion of Bitcoin instead.
I mean, have you met Frederick?
He's a huge Bitcoin holder. Or I should say he's a big crypto holder.
Yeah.
And,
Herman, have you
Yeah.
met Frederick?
I'm back from El Salvador at an adopting Bitcoin conference where I expoed there. So I've been studying it for like 7 years.
the difference between you and him is you rarely speak about it. Everything he talks about turns into crypto.
Yeah, well, that's the early stages. Yeah, I'm at a later stage where I'm like,
So you're late stage crypto. Okay, I understand.
Well,
yeah.
Christy has joined us in the chat. Good to see you, Christy. How you doing?
Hi, Christina.
And
Listen,
beep,
he's
beep,
late.
my ride is here. Hail Bat Sauce.
Bat Sauce, what's up?
He's late stage crypto, so
Yeah,
he
that's
doesn't
all.
really talk about it
Well,
much.
first of
Then he
all,
goes
it's
to mention.
it's Bitcoin, not crypto. Crypto is a dirty word. They're all scams. Fuck them. Fuck XRP. It's Bitcoin. You hodl, and that's all. Thank you
Wait,
very
is your
much.
like swear word like cryptors or something?
Yeah, shitcoins, crypto, it's the same thing.
Ethereum.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I bought some crypto, but I traded in for some mines stuff because I do posting on mines. But yeah, I'm not a crypto guy. It's funny.
Yeah, it's going on national reserves now. You got the Federal Reserve announcing it with Chris
Yep.
Loomer, and of course Trump. And Pennsylvania apparently is going to be buying their own reserve for this at the state level. So it's getting interesting.
There's also ETFs coming out for, I think, Bitcoin and or XRP. I know one of the things with XRP is the banks are trying to buy into it because they're going to be using it for paying for bank transfers.
They've been saying that for 10 years. I've never seen any proof of it.
Well, the banks have started buying into it. I think part of it was the SEC thing and stuff. But there's bigger money interests that are now getting into it. It is currently like $2 and something right now, I think.
XRP.
Yeah.
Well, Christie speculates that pretty soon you won't be able to use dollar bills.
I'm
I hope
I'm
that's not the case.
I mean,
Well, right now I don't pay in dollar bills. I use my debit card.
Yeah, we've gotten so used to electronic transfers for all transactions that I would hate to see cash go the way of the dodo.
well, during the pandemic, they were flat out refusing cash in a lot of places. They were like, no, cash is contaminated with COVID. You have to use your debit card because it's much cleaner to use the same terminal than to pass out cash, apparently.
Yeah.
So they went bonkers, but they have no problem stopping it if they get top-down orders to refuse it. So in Canada especially, you can see it disappear in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas is currently working on a gold-backed digital currency, but that part of the reason for that digital currency part is so that you can basically put your cash in a bank account that is basically equated to gold, and then basically use that debit card to spend your gold account.
Yeah, my feeling is there should always be a physical a physical money. And the reason being is, like in Michigan, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but back, more than a decade ago, we had that huge power outage along the all along the eastern seaboard and up into the Midwest. You couldn't, I mean, without, I mean, we were out of power for about a week, and without the power, you couldn't pay for anything.
Right.
So
Well,
you know,
My aunt is out in North Carolina, and she's still in all that mess. Granted, she's in pretty decent condition, but when the power was out, like they had places that had power but no internet. Then they had other places that had no power, so there's obviously no internet. And so if you didn't have cash, you were screwed. And even with that, there was a lot of people that, even if they could get access to their bank, or even if they, like auto payments and stuff from their bank, for some reason, even if it was like a national bank, apparently your local place was not making the payments and stuff. My aunt ended up with a couple of overdue fees or whatever because her bank decided to not do the auto pay stuff, even though they're like a national bank.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, no
I'm
clue why
telling
that
you.
happened, but
The future, gentlemen, is going to be three things. All right, it's going to be food and water. Those are one. And it's going to be ammunition. All right, that's two. And then the third one is going to be comfort food. All right, comfort food is going to be as good as gold in the apocalypse. You have no idea what a woman's about to give you in the apocalypse for a Hershey's bar.
okay, so I got a question. How do you get that freaking sandwich image type thing?
So,
What do you do?
So, I used AI to make the sandwich with the mouth and everything. And then in AI, they got this thing called in-painting, where I select a portion of the mouth and I tell it that I need the mouth wider, so that way it's talking. And then it'll just regenerate only that portion that you select, which gives me a second image here to go back and forth from. and now I am the living sandwich.
Didn't
Yeah,
you
but,
make the eyes blink too?
Yes, I have one of
It's
that.
a ping thing. I think you use Streamlabs, run it through like a website, right, James? The image, like 2 images.
Yes, I am actually broadcasting I'm in a video chat in Discord, and then I have that video chat saved as a window in my OBS, which is what you are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. The bouncing is just a little bit too much for me, but looks good otherwise.
I can remove the bouncing. It's a feature.
I'll make a hedge that does it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very possible.
I
Very
would feel
possible.
that if the sandwich was bouncing without the background moving as well, it would look like it's speaking. But the fact that the
Oh,
whole window
yeah.
is bouncing is kind
Yeah.
of
I mean,
Well, hold up.
also
It's
doable.
the power of his thune. The sandwich thune.
Dude. I'll be back. Speaking of sandwich, I need to feed my dog.
oh no, this sounds terrible. Don't do it, James.
Crispy. They're just about gone.
He's gonna
I'm
commit
not gonna feed
suicide.
him meat. My dog can't eat.
What would be a
grain.
name
No
for
sandwich
instead of
bread.
it being the Dragonborn? What would it be called?
Salmon. Oh no, the deli-born.
The breadborn.
Tuna born.
The
The
bread.
breadborn.
Born. I like that. The deli born.
Yeah.
All right, put it underneath your names, James. You're the Deliborn.
When I get back, the dog's hungry.
Wait, what does a sandwich eat?
No, he said the dog is hungry. He's got to feed his dog.
He has to throw himself at his dog.
That's the thing. He's gonna commit suicide. Just
Yeah,
to
that's
feed
what
his
he
dog.
gets for being a bacon sandwich, I guess.
Oh, you know what? He needs to come back with the Pizza the Hut one we had him make.
Yeah.
Take me, Fido, take me.
So
Why that doesn't sound
did you
right.
get your PNG ping tuber files there, Billy Bob?
Yeah, they're done.
Have you tested it out yet?
No.
No. You gotta.
Someday.
So, guys, multiverses. What makes a good multiverse story, and why are so many of them garbage lately?
They copy too much.
It's a cop out. It's a cop out for easier storytelling sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of it is used as a shitty way to retcon your fucking shit writing. I think
Multiverses breed basic. I was going to say really good line, and it just left it. The Peanuts took it. Oh, I remember.
Oh, Peanut.
Multiverse Peanuts.
Read
Yeah, that
out
one.
Hour. That's your name.
Multiverses breed laziness in writing, especially nowadays. I'm not saying a multiverse can't be done. I'm not saying it can't be done well, but more often than not, it becomes a crutch to say, oh, I wrote myself into a corner. Well, that was just one universe. We're going to start it all up. Reboot. We're going to start fresh. Go back to basics.
Or you send your character to jail.
Yeah, using that to just replace a dead character or retcon, bad idea. I was listening to a video on that today, asking and they were asking if you look at Spider-Man, No Way Home, and The Flash, one was awesome and the other sucked. And I wish I remember what channel it was. I'd like to shout him out, but he mentioned how in The Flash, you had Michael Keaton's Batman make an appearance, but other than it was Michael Keaton playing Batman, there seemed to be no tie to the Batman we remember him as.
Yeah, so
If you look at Spider-Man No Way Home, Tobey Spidey and Andrew Garfield's Spidey, they both continued the story from the previous movies where they were the same characters, because it caught up on what happened between Toby's Spidey and MJ. What happened with Garfield's Spidey and what happened after the death of Gwen Stacy. So it actually continued those character stories and brought it even further forward.
So I haven't watched No Way Home, but also I'm gonna assume it was just an actual good written movie as well, unlike the Flash one.
Mostly.
The Flash was just cameo porn.
Yeah, No Way Home. That's the one with the 3 actors, right?
Yes.
I fucking love that one. I think that was.
So I will question Andrew Garfield taking off his mask just because these strangers know his name. I think he would have left the mask on.
But just the fact that they could pull it off, like 3 actors across 3 studios, is quite remarkable. Just the fact that it exists.
Yeah, and it was also like the
That's
last
true.
time Marvel had like a ginormous success.
Yeah, and it was just an all-around
Yeah.
good time. Like I enjoyed.
It wasn't
the movie.
even it wasn't even their own success. Like you said, it was co-produced. So
Yeah,
they
it was like
you know,
Sony. Because Sony's the only one that could pull off a Marvel movie, apparently.
So
Did
they also bomb quite a few of them too.
did the latest Venom movie actually make money? Because they made 3.
I think it made money, but it was said not to be all that great.
I mean, I don't think any of them are good in general. Any of the Venom movies, but
I
they
can't
make money.
speak to them because I haven't seen them.
I only seen the first one and it was bad. I tried watching the second one, and I don't care about the third one.
The what? Which one?
The Venom
Venom.
movies.
Oh, those look so terrible.
They are, at least the one I watched.
Yeah, I saw the first one in the theater, and
How the fuck does that thing get into like a 3rd sequel?
Oh man,
Kids-
people just like this shit.
kids like it. I think
Did the
normies.
movies do well? I don't remember them doing well.
I think it did. I think it was a success because it wasn't a huge. It didn't cost like over the top, and it got its money back, as I believe.
Didn't they
Imagine
have what's his name playing as Carnage?
Woody Harrelson.
Woody
Yeah.
Harrelson.
That's in the second one, right, or the third?
Yeah,
Second one.
he has a terrible wig.
He needs to borrow Royce's wig.
Remember, Sony's wanting to do the Sinister Six.
And I
They
really
even
wish
want to
they
do
would.
that forever, and they can never get it off the ground. It
They
always
already.
They even
working
tried to
on
pull
it now.
together for No Way Home and they couldn't do it.
They're working on it now. They're actually releasing their first villain movie.
Oh,
it's
they're
not
actually
gonna work.
doing it?
It's just the weight, it always implodes. It's just
Get
never gonna
this.
work.
Shut up, Rita. I'm talking. Sandwich is talking now. Get this. We are getting a Craven the Hunter movie.
Oh yeah, we did do that. Yeah.
It's like, why?
Who is playing Craven again? Who was it?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
It's not a terrible choice. He's actually not a bad actor.
No, he's not, but they released the first 8 minutes of it on the internet
Mhm.
to try and entice people to watch it.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah. And I was watching a video earlier today from channels called Snarky J Cosplay, and she said she watched this 8 minutes, and she is so sick of Sony trying to make Spider-Man villain movies with no attachment to Spider-Man. However, she really likes Aaron Taylor Johnson, so she watched this, and she doesn't have much faith in it. However, she's probably going to watch it anyway because she likes to watch Aaron Taylor Johnson. So, but she, after watching the 8 minutes, she's not too. Other than the fact that it was him playing the role, it didn't suck her in at all.
I mean,
so apparently
it is
he's
weird.
got
That
the charisma, but the writing doesn't seem very solid. Which
it
seems
is weird that they keep trying to do villain movies, yet except they don't actually commit to them being villains.
yeah, every single one of them has to almost be
Well, they're misunderstood.
not straight up heroic in some way.
Yeah, they're misunderstood. They're not really villains. They're just misunderstood.
Although Morbius, from what I understand, he was never truly a full-blown villain. I may be mistaken on that.
The,
But he was
the
more
only movie
bad
that I-
situation.
It's kind of
The only-
circumstance, yeah.
The only movie I think that somewhat did it well with having them be villains was not the first Suicide Squad, but the second one.
Yeah, that was the James Gunn one.
Mainly because they actually were like murdering innocent people and just did not give a fuck. And I'm like, all right, this one's okay.
And then Shark King goes around eating people, and then just for some reason everybody loves Shark King, even though he's eating people. It's like something about James Gunn likes to take inanimate objects and turn them into something that everybody loves. You got Groot, you got Shark King.
I kind of hate that movie kind of didn't do well because I actually do like it.
Didn't Sylvester
The first one
Stallone
was
play Shark?
garbage.
How to say what?
Didn't Sylvester Stallone play the shark?
Yes, he did.
Nice.
I don't remember who done the voice for the Shark King.
That was Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it was.
They must have been like modulating the fuck out of his voice.
No, if you go back and watch it now that you know it, you can't unhear his voice now. Trust me.
I have to rewatch it. I like that. I like my favorite scene in that movie is when totally not Deadshot, because for some reason they just didn't want to recast Deadshot. What was his name in that movie?
I can't remember now.
Oh no.
But that wasn't Deadshot. That was a different character.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it was totally not Deadshot, because they couldn't get Will Smith or something to come back as Deadshot, so they had a character that just so happens to have both, mainly the abilities of Deadshot. Just called something else. But anyways, the best scene is when they think what's his name got captured, so they go into like this rebel camp, and they're like, trying to one up each other on
They
killing.
wipe out the rebels.
Yeah, and then at the very end of it, they're like, "Whoa! These guys are on our side." Oops. That scene's great.
$5 says James Gunn voted for Trump.
I have no clue. I know he's over DC now.
Here we go. Listen to his voice.
Next up is King Shark.
Bullshit! What the fuck?
Some people claim that Nanawe is a descendant of an ancient shark god. Whatever the case, he's strong and deadly.
Does it talk?
Book read.
Wow. Book's upside down. You see that? It's pretending to read a book.
So smart, me.
Oh, I can hear it now. Yeah.
Be a mite careful, as he's developed a taste for human meat.
You can
That's
hear
just his
it.
normal. See, they didn't actually have him perform. They just put they just put microphones in his house and got his natural speaking voice.
So basically, he got the Vin Diesel treatment, where he got the voice the character get paid a shit ton of money just to say "I'm Groot." Yeah.
Yeah. I am Groot.
How much do you think he got paid for that, by the way?
Oh,
I
yeah,
have no idea.
Yeah, at least 10 to 15 mil. Like that guy got paid.
I was like, best job ever. That's all. I have 3 fucking lines. I say that at any time. But that's great.
Like
You just got to enunciate them all differently.
Yeah, you got to put the emotion in each one, though.
He got paid $1,000 a word. He said it like 18 different times.
Yeah, but Frequency, you're acting like this would be that difficult. I'll just say I am Groot.
Trying to give him some credit. I wouldn't want to say the same line over and over and over again. I'd be so sick of my own voice.
He eventually says, "We are Groot."
Yeah, but they had to pay him like $200,000 extra to say that.
Yeah, that line hit in the movie too. People enjoyed that line, like "We are Groot." Now I die.
We are.
Listen, Vin Diesel put in his contract he can only say "I am Groot." Anything other than "I am Groot,"
that cost extra.
Yeah. He's like he had to what is it called for actors when they really get into the role?
Character acting?
No.
Method acting, I think.
Method acting. So he actually like dressed up as a tree and like went outside and like a potted plant and stuff. He had like his assistant like throw like water on him.
Oh, brother!
Listen, he really got it.
Is that where he? Is that when they filmed him dancing in a little pot at the end? Vin Diesel had to act that part, you know.
Yeah, he specifically got Dr. Smooferschnitz to use the shrinking ray on him so they can capture him as little tiny Groot.
Dr. what?
Doofenshmirtz, whatever the fuck he's
Isn't
called in Phineas and Ferb.
Doofenshmirtz?
Doofenshmirtz.
Why do I know that? Now I just
Probably
admitted
because your
to
son
watching
watched
Phineas
Phineas and Ferb, which was actually like quite big when I was a kid.
Yeah. Perry. I want to see Perry versus Rufus.
Christina, no, when he died. What do you mean?
I think the two comments got to kind of go together.
You know what I would love to see, but at the same time, you know, let's assume they're not going to just wokify it, is like a extra season of Dexter's Laboratory. I miss
Well,
that
that'd be Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network.
Yeah, they definitely ruined it. But man, if they did it, it'd be freaking hilarious.
Well, it wouldn't be Dexter's Laboratory; it'd be his sister. She'd magically
Dee's
turn out to be-
Laboratory.
Yeah.
Animaniacs.
Well, didn't Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable grow up to be Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton?
What?
You know, Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable?
Kim
Didn't they
Possible.
grow up to be Black Widow and Hawkeye?
I mean, that'd be kind of weird because they're fucking, but you know.
What?
Now, I saw a meme once that showed Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable, and it was right next to it. It showed Black Widow and Hawkeye, and they look like.
I don't think anyone understood that. None of y'all watch Kim Possible?
I get it.
Somehow
I get
my
it.
brain did.
I've seen reference to Kim Possible. I didn't sit down and watch one.
It was a Disney.
What did you watch as a child, Frederick? A young Quebec.
We had like French translations of Japanese anime. So Albator, which was like Captain Harlock.
Oui.
You know him as Captain Harlock. We had Goldorak, which is like a giant fucking robot with blades on his arms, and he puts them blades together on a stick, and then he has like this huge weapon. Anyway, so Japanese stuff translated into French is mostly what we got. And G.I. Joes and Transformers came in as well.
Transformers, sandwich in the sky.
I love that shit. But yeah, Captain Harlock, the old 78 series is incredible.
Yeah. I seen the remake. It was like a movie. It wasn't that bad, but the original's way better.
Well, he didn't kill himself. He just took the brunt of the attack and died for him. Like he didn't commit suicide, yeah. Yeah, that's why I was saying, but you know, the upper two are fucking each other. They're in a relationship. That's what I'm saying. It'd be kind of weird for Hawkeye and his wife, you know.
Yeah. They must have split up before that happened then.
Wait, so Hawkeye can actually be in a wheelchair now. Like it actually wouldn't be forced diversity.
Ouch.
Got ran over by.
That-
Feels so bad for him, but I'm not gonna lie, it is a little funny. Do y'all remember the story? Is like the what was it, snowplower thing?
Yes, it was some kind of heavy duty yard equipment tractor and freak accident and toppled over. He got crushed by it. Is he up and moving again now? I mean, I thought he was mending pretty well.
I think
Last
he is.
heard.
But I mean, you also got like crush, so yeah, still gonna have long term effects from that.
Yeah, that's not something you just walk off. Sorry, coach.
It's not gonna be running on set with a bow for a while. Redoubt.
There was a close call.
Yeah.
Go
We're
ahead,
gonna
Miguel.
have a segment for you on the stream. You're gonna pick out a train and you're gonna tell us all about it.
Start with Thomas the Tank.
He's a tank engine. He's really useful.
He thinks he
What color
can.
is he? I mean, Jesus. Come on.
I don't want to talk about British trains. They're puny compared to Americans.
All right, pick out an American train.
What's your favorite train?
I don't know. I don't think of these things.
I thought you thought about these things all the time.
No, the internet does.
No. You see, he's lying. His favorite thing is Train Coon. You know.
Let's see, what's the biggest wheel arrangement? Was it like 4884s or something?
It would have been. I'm trying to think. I think the triplex had it beat. Let's just say it's completely, utterly ridiculous. I don't know if it's the biggest ever concede, but it's up there. There was a locomotive. It existed, and its wheel arrangement was 2, 8, 8,
Yeah.
8, 2.
Hey,
Oh,
Rita.
wow. I forgot
are
about
you-
that one.
Are you down to teaming up and making a analog horror involving train and Pennsylvania somehow?
Analog horror? What's this analog horror you speak of?
It's like found footage horror. People make their own found footage.
There's a lot of niches there, James.
I know. It'll be great. We'll produce it just for us.
Read out the found footage.
Yeah. You just take the footage regularly. I'll make it look found.
Oh, God.
Now, what do they use for fuel now, by the way?
Diesel, I'd imagine.
Oddly enough,
A lot of it's, well, it depends on which locomotive we're talking about.
yeah,
Modern day. Obviously, it's not just steam or coal anymore. I was wondering, are they all diesel engines, or are they using other stuff, or what?
I think a lot of the diesel engines have been fading out as they've been moving into more electrical engines. But I think
they're more diesel electric than just straight up diesel anymore.
Yeah.
Now, people like to talk about hybrid engines 10 years ago like they were the hottest new thing. From what I understand, trains have been doing that since before 1900.
Yeah.
Because it was steam, and didn't they use alternators and produce electrical on trains as well?
Well, there was for a while there. I think they were doing DC, and then I know recently a lot of them starting to convert to AC. A lot of these diesel electrics.
But I mean, trains are like the original hybrid engines, pretty much.
I mean, look, they were trying at one point to make a nuclear train. They made turbine trains. They did a lot of crazy stuff with trains. Like when the problem was in like begin in the 30s and then through World War II, they're basically trying to see, how can we make the steam engine better and better? Not one to face the reality of the steam engine's done due to economics. And World War II kind of pushed the issue down the pipeline because, World War II, everything hit the fan. It's like, we need to use steam. Steam's just, it's already there. It's already wide produced. Just mine all the coal we can get.
Yeah.
But after World War II is over, what had happened, some of these railroads, they invested in very, very interesting steam designs. This is where you get the Pennsylvania Railroad's T1 that I did the video about, because they figured after the war, we're just going to invest everything's going to skyrocket, ridership, freight, and we need to invest in the biggest steam locomotive. And they were too complicated for their own good. And at that point, everybody's like, diesel's more affordable.
Yeah. No, are magnetic rails, they're becoming a big thing now?
I don't know too much about the magnetic rails.
The problem in America for the magnetic rails is the legislature. There's too many laws. There's too many restrictions that they can't be built like in Asia. Because we definitely have the technology and the money, but there's too many laws preventing them from the project going through.
Maybe Doge can help with that.
Possibly.
Well, Amtrak, has always been FUBAR ever since it was founded.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because almost all of the tracks they run over, they don't own the right of way for, and of course, the property owner has jurisdiction over what's going over those lines. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, you own the property, of course. There's very like the northeast corridor, which is a high-speed electric rail going out of New York City. That's like one of the only things Amtrak actually owns. It's like the only thing that's efficient for them getting in and out of New York City. But like all of your coast to coast travels, your passengers, they're always delayed. They always have breakdowns, and they always have to bend to the wheel of whatever line they're running over.
Like a lot of the places, there's a speed limit, even though the train can get up to like ridiculous miles per hour.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to go over 45, 50 in a lot of the areas. So it takes longer to get to places than it theoretically should.
And the
Now, have
problem,
you?
and the
go
problem
ahead.
is in the United States of America, trying to get high-speed rail. It's not about the technology. The technology's there. It's not even about you couldn't theoretically get a company organized for it. I'm sure you could. The United States is just built differently. Look at all these other countries that have electric rails. They usually have a central capital, or they're relatively small in landmass. It can be done in North America. It's a very different situation for places like the United States or even Mexico and Canada. It's a very different situation. It's just so much. There's so much land. There's so much topographical things to break through. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very difficult.
Between the regulations and the topography, it's just not worth the effort yet.
Basically,
So one of the other issues, like in Kansas City, they've been trying to get light rail for forever. But in Kansas City, you're dealing with the state line, so you're dealing with both Missouri and Kansas. And so Kansas is waiting for Missouri to build the part on Missouri, and Missouri is waiting for Kansas to build the part on Kansas. And then the other issue is where do you bring them together? Because you may end up having the correct spot on the Kansas side, but on the Missouri side, you won't be able to get the property because different landowners or whatever. And so you may end up having to connect it, 2 miles in a different spot. Well, then how do you go back to the other state and correct that issue? And currently it's just so built up that I don't know that it's really going to work until somebody really wants to make it happen.
I'll tell you what the future travel is, and Frederick can agree with me on this. It's blimps and Zeppelin.
Yes, airships. Bring back airships, baby. No
we're
airport.
gonna make airships great again.
Yeah. Well, we're making some in Montreal, but I don't see them flying around. Yeah, you used to be able to hitch to skyscrapers. Like a lot of the sculptures and decorations on top of the skyscrapers were for the airships coming in and dock at the top there. You'd get off the skyscraper, go to the restaurant, eat, and get back on your airship. And
what I will say about these, because I know there's a lot of romanticizing about the airships. They
don't do well in a windstorm.
Well, they don't do well in a windstorm. And also, they didn't really have the passenger capacity like to do it in mass. It was a luxury thing. It wasn't something that we never reached a point where it could be for a wider audience.
Right. Now, do you guys think that...
Not saying it can't be done, the technology's there. I'm always open for that. But
looking at
they're working on it. I forgot which construction company is working on big-ass blimps made to carry just shit tons of supplies into hard-to-reach areas.
Now, looking at drones, do you think that design might play into the possibility of future airships?
Drones? In their design, maybe. The four propeller design, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really a aeronautical engineer or anything like that. So I
imagine that'd be really loud, though.
I mean, we have planes now.
There's different types of motors you can get that are more silent. Like when you have a ring around it, you can reduce a little bit of the sound.
But you also got to consider that you're going when you are flying in a plane, you're going at hundreds of miles per hour, and you're being driven by a jet engine, a turbine jet engine. You're not going to get that kind of speed out of a propeller.
No.
And that's the reason why we don't have biplanes anymore. It's the reason why we don't have, Spitfires and B-24 bomb, or was it B-17 bombers? It's
Oh, I
because-
thought it was a safety issue after Indiana Jones.
no.
That was a gruesome way to go.
But fun.
Not for the other guy.
Let's see, what was it? I recently saw a video and I have no idea where it was from, but I think they had mixed Star Wars and Indiana Jones together. So, like, instead of trying to make it onto the Millennium Falcon, they were trying to make it onto the Nazi plane.
No ticket.
Where's your ticket frequency? Oh, I see you. You have no ticket.
I have no ticket.
Anyways.
Dr. Jones.
Oh, no ticket.
So briefly, if you do want to know why the United States rail transportation has been in the gutter in the 21st century, need look no further than Penn Central. Who knows the tale of Penn Central?
I do not.
Wait, are you saying it's your state's fault?
Kind of, actually.
Why? What is the tale of Penn Central?
Well, you see, in the 1970
Oh.
exactly, two of the largest railroad corporations, the Pennsylvania Railroad and the New York Central, found a way to merge. The problem was they were doing it about a time when all of your major industries that railroads were dependent upon for over a century were collapsing. The Rust Belt is expanding. Air transportation is becoming much more rapid, as well as better motor transportation. So the demand was declining. They merged into a conglomerate, and essentially they created a black hole for the railroad industry, leading to, at that time, the largest bankruptcy in American history. It only took 2.5 years before they were in the financial gutter. And there was a lot of other internal problems. You were dealing with two very massive but different corporate structures smashing into each other. It was a mess. And basically it was so bad that by the end of the decade, the federal government had to go in, form the Consolidated Rail Corporation just to run rails, freights, and passenger services in the United States of America, because Penn Central just wiped out a third, if not even a little bit larger, of the railroad networks in North America from their bankruptcy.
Ooh. I got a fact about trains I learned about. So stopwatches, they had to, put very strict structures on them, like their timing, because one was off by like 13 minutes and it caused the major crash.
Oh, no bueno.
Bueno, dude.
Yes, freak or read out. Yes, no, yes.
I didn't say it. I was being asked a question.
So don't you know about that? It's got to do with trains. I was giving my one train lore I knew.
I know
train
basically.
lore goes deep.
I know basically standard time and all that. That's set up because of the railroads.
I'm talking about train coon lore. Okay.
Train coon.
Now,
But
there's things on the front that we all call cow catchers. What are they really?
you can go watch Heiss's video about it. No joke. Heiss has a whole video. He's one of the more famed railroad YouTubers. He actually is an engineer for the Colorado Railroad Museum, runs steam locomotives, has a very fun podcast where they basically, he and his friends get together and they basically try to guess a historic event in railroading. It's so absurd. It's like one of them, it's kind of like Mad Libs. Like, so guess what happened next? They did one about the Killer Bridge. There was a Killer Bridge once.
What was his name? Frequency.
Tell us about the bridge. How
What
about
did it
we all
kill?
do this?
Why? What is this Killer Bridge? Frequency?
I don't know.
Yeah, frequency.
Why is we
You
asking
know,
frequency? What did I? What?
It's your freaking show, man. Aren't you responsible for your own content?
Yeah, I
No.
mean, like, why are you gonna
Yeah.
like?
I am so confused what's happening right now. Help me.
Why are you supporting someone who ate Peanut, the squirrel?
Because he was delicious.
No, we not go, man.
The Haitians were all out of dog and cat, so we had to improvise.
Oh, did you see Mar-a-Lago got a new kind of dog?
No.
What?
It's one of the Boston Mechanic robot dogs for sentry duty.
Yeah, I saw that.
Can't
Control
wait to have those roaming the streets. Policing.
I wonder, do those things make barking sounds?
Probably only to scare people.
Makes sense.
Well, the cats are not putting up with it.
It's the same old theme since 1916. Eeyore-head, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. Eeyore-head, they are dying.
On that note, I do think it's about time to start wrapping up. Herman,
Yes.
why don't you start
What?
us out?
Start us out with what? Wrapping up.
Party and plugs.
This is the
Backing
beginning of the end.
Backing up.
Yeah, I'm almost finished with The Revenant and the Tomb Book 2, and the audio is actually done. I'm waiting for a small change from Steve and for his high-speed internet to come back, so I can upload the actual change in the filing, send me an invoice. But I mean, the cover's done. I'm having the interior formatted. I'm ready to rock and roll. And I do have a store. It'll be available on my store's pre-order.
Nice.
Sweet.
James,
Let me get my sandwich up and running.
hold on. You need to get your Pizza the Hut one.
Pizza
Yeah.
the Hut? Okay, let me get Pizza the Hut. We'll switch over real quick. And then we'll get our pizza going.
Listen,
I am sorry.
hide your
Here
children.
we are. Hide your children, hide your wives. Pizza the Hut is in town. But I got this really excellent video I released called Whitlow Radio, where it's a lovely fake radio with Kahuna doing a bunch of magnificent and funny ad reads for on Pizza the Hut. And on top of that, I got a stream tomorrow with The Black Knight and R8 Snow, where we're going to be diving in deep on a mystery topic. I say it's mystery because I forgot what we're discussing, but it's written down somewhere. Check us out tomorrow, 5 o'clock Texas time on Pizza the Hut.
Anyways, after that nightmare, read out.
I don't like looking at the bloodshot eyes of Pizza the Hut. They scare me. They take my soul away. Anyways, oh God, no.
Now keep it up while he does his.
Okay.
That might be better.
Somehow lizard people from the government is less concerning.
Hello.
Cool.
I
This is
hope you
normal.
did your taxes this year.
Oh, dang. Got those.
Stream Thursday night, Uncut History on Readout Productions. We normally have videos Saturdays. We'll see how this week goes, if I can get an episode edited. Man, the last 2 weeks legit have just been maddening in the real world. Maddening. Today was pretty calm though. So yeah, go to Readout Productions. We live, explore history one video at a time. Good night.
Don't worry, we'll fix that issue real quick by doing a re-recording of My Immortal.
No, that's for the traditional lounge.
You.
Raven.
Yeah, I'm finally back from Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to catch up with everything. But I've been doing a bunch of writing since then. After driving for 8 hours straight with nothing else to do, you kind of come up with things to write about. So I'm back into writing stuff. But in the meantime, if you've not checked them out yet, The Record of the Paladins by B.P. McCobbin.
Nice. Frederick.
Yeah, so I'm back to penciling pages of Rattel, so you can follow that on rattelcomic.com. I've also got a show on YouTube tomorrow, Proof of Comics at 8 Eastern Central. We've got Chill Kid as a guest, so come
Sweet.
listen to what he's got to say and what he's
Nice.
produced in terms of music, like a great contributor to the Iron Age music scene.
Which doesn't exist, by the way.
Yeah, so see something that doesn't exist tomorrow at 8. And Billy
like a
Bob and
bad
I
word.
recorded a review as well as Tenkage of Rook Exodus, the comic book, issue number 1. So that's going to be coming out pretty soon, right, Billy Bob?
Yeah, it shouldn't take me too long, but it will be a long video. But that was pretty fun.
You got anything, Billy?
It's your turn.
Only Gremlins on Substack.com. There you go.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
All right. And I want to give a shout out for Iron Seas happening tomorrow night. You can find that after Frederick's stream, starring The Ultimate Kahuna, Bat Sauce, AC Pritchard, and Evele Music. I don't know what they're
Why do
discussing.
people keep getting his name wrong? It's not bat sauce, it's butt sauce.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Eveline music for Eveline.
But anyway, you can catch my stuff on Amazon, Haley Star Bad Kitty and Bad Kitty Haley's World. You could also find me on Substack, the X Twitter, Truth in Minds under Frequency Studios. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Christy, I see you there. She says, good night, everyone. All right. If you enjoyed this presentation, hit the like, and if you didn't, I appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next time, and God bless.
Applause.
Have a good weekend.
Good night.
And I'm gonna hit this button a little bit sooner tonight because I usually go fumbling for it at the end.
Jewish space laser.
Good
There we
night,
go.
St. Louis.
Oh man, I still want Jewish space lasers. I will mount them to my ship and ride it into battle.
Warhammer 40k style.
But you think that's cool? Imagine Chuck Norris armed with Jewish space lasers. That'd be something awesome.
That's too deadly.
Not as big as Texas space laser.
Solitaire.
We're still here.